welcome back. Sopa de Salchichon. You heard me. Sopa de Salchichon de Puerto Rico. In other words, is Puerto Rican style sausage soup. And I'm preparing this with natural ingredients. And the taste is going to be so enhanced that if you give it a try, it's very likely your eyes are going to start rolling out and you're going to go into a moment where it takes you back to your childhood memories when perhaps your grandmother, your granddad, or your mom or aunt or whoever used to cook those delicious food for you, come into your mind because it's going to take you back. I'm telling you, that's how I designed this one. Still the same soup, but the ingredients are just the natural. And the technique of cooking is what is going to enhance. So go nowhere. Let's create. So here are the ingredients. I have smoked sausage, which is the one I prefer. I'm going to cook only half because I'm only cooking for one person, just to illustrate. You take this thing out, then you're going to quarter it in quarters, equal size. I also have a potato, which I'm going to peel and cut in little squares. I have thin spaghetti, and I have a tomato, which I'm going to grate. That's going to serve as a substitute to my tomato sauce. I don't like to cook with canned tomato sauce. Something I want to show you now, which is very important. You see this beautiful thing? This is sofrito, which I made about 14 months ago. Look how beautiful it is. See how, ooh. But because I have some ingredients that I need to use before they go bad, I'm not going to use the sofrito. I'm going to create my real-time sofrito. So I have a little bit of cilantro and culantro. I have both. But you don't need culantro, it's hard to find. You can use cilantro. I have a quarter of an onion, which I'm going to chop into small pieces. I have a red and an orange mini sweet pepper, and I have a small piece of bell green pepper. And I also have garlic. What I'm going to do with the garlic, I have 4 teeth because I love garlic. I'm going to mince 3 teeth, I'm going to mince it very, very thinly. And 1 teeth, what I'm going to do, I'm going to smash it and cut it into tiny pieces. That way I have a hidden flavor and a not so hidden flavor also of the garlic. Also going to have, you can use water, but I'm going to use some beef broth. Sea salt for flavor, and a couple things that are optional. I'm going to use some smoked paprika, ground type. And this is really optional, but I want a little bit of a kick in mind, so I'm going to use some ground Cajun red pepper. And I also have some squash or pumpkin, whatever you want to call it, which I cut in tiny pieces. See? So the first thing I'm going to do in my pot. I'm just going to use cast iron, but you don't have to. You can use any pot as long as you can take enough water. High heat. And I'm going to use some extra virgin olive oil. You can use the oil of your preference. I go extra virgin. Have this heating up pretty good. And you're going to get the salchichon or the sausage. And you're going to sear this baby for a little bit. Start cooking this a little bit. And you probably do this for about maybe 2 minutes. 3 worst case scenario. What you're doing is getting the flavor already out. See? So in essence, what I'm doing, in essence, is braising my salchichon or my sausage. I'm braising it, giving that nice color, see? And I did this for a couple minutes. Going to lower the heat because I'm going to get them out. I don't want them fried. So let them move them to another container because I'm going to do some other magic here. And they're going to be on my way. So I'm going to get them out, just to open space. And I'm going to be using the same grease, the same oil. Let's start with the peppers. So what I'm doing now, I'm making my sofrito, real time. There's a myth out there that sofrito has to be blended and put in the freezer. That's good. You know, you should do that because sometimes you cannot find the ingredients. But the freshest, most delicious sofrito is the one that you do from scratch. You're using fresh stuff, you know. And in my case, I have everything I need. So I'm going to add the cilantro and the culantro. And I'm going to add the onions. I'm going to increase the heat to medium high. Move it around, move it around. You do this for a minute or two. Now comes the garlic. Minced and one cut in little chunks. So adding the hidden flavor and the not so hidden flavor. And this I'm going to do for a few seconds because I don't want my garlic to really get burnt. So I'm going to move this around, move this around. Going to a little bit smoked paprika. Oops. There it is. It's about a teaspoon, if that. Then I'm going to move it around. I'm going to add a little bit of the red cayenne pepper, not a whole lot, just a little bit. See, you have that little hole there. I just want a little kick, not a big kick, but just a little kick. I don't have any pique, so I have to do it my way. Pique is like homemade hot sauce that we make in Puerto Rico. And you want to move this a little bit. Now add your stuff, your salchichon. Continue moving. And now comes your tomato sauce. I prefer to add it now. To get things rolling. I don't need all the stuff, but I come to add enough. See how pretty it's looking? Time to add some potatoes. And I'm going to add a little bit of pumpkin. A lot of people don't do this, but I'm going to do it. Actually, squash, pumpkin, whatever you want to call it. Move it for about a minute. So I'm creating the base now. First I did the sofrito. Actually, first what I did was I sear the meat, salchichon, sausage. Then I created my sofrito. And then after creating my sofrito, I added the other stuff to create the base. Oh yeah, looking pretty. Traditionally, what I do also, I grab the potatoes and I tend to boil them for 5 minutes to reduce the cooking time here. You might even use the same water that you boiled in, you know. But this time I didn't, because I want this stuff to get out the juices. And the potato is what is going to tell me when this stuff is done. Let's start adding the broth. You can use water, by the way. And I'm adding the broth. And the amount of broth is going to be kind of dependent on how much spaghetti you're going to use. But I wanted to add it now. Put this in high. So I wanted to boil. I wanted to let it boil. And I might have to use a little bit more, by the way. Because I don't think I have enough. From my stash, getting it from my stash. And worst case scenario, I can add some water too. It doesn't matter. I might have enough now. And I like the dark color of the broth, by the way. Because you're dealing with beef. Sausage beef. You know what I mean? So you do this, let it heat, high heat. Because what you want is you want this to boil. So before it takes complete boil, I'm going to give it a taste. And because I'm only making this for me, only for me, I'm going to use the same spoon to give it a taste. If you're cooking for other people, don't do that. So I'm going to need some salt. And the important thing about giving things a taste, I have a friend of mine who was in the army, combat vet. He was cooking, and then he got distracted on somebody, you know, put the appropriate salt and whatever to the food. And he came back and he added to it. And he was cooking for a bunch of us and things like that. And he got distracted, he didn't taste it, so he added the amount he wanted to add. Guy's from North Carolina, so he put a lot. And what happened is, the thing couldn't be eaten. It tasted like it was washed in the Dead Sea back in the Middle East, you know. Like it literally was taken from the Red Sea, that salty and stuff. So don't make that mistake. I always give it a taste. And because I'm going to be the one eating this, see how beautiful it's looking? I'm going to give it another taste. Ooh, a little bit more. So let's see. So when it starts boiling, these babies are going to come in. Oh man, that looks beautiful and smells good. And I did cut this in half to make it manageable. You know, the spaghetti, I cut it in half. Yeah, I don't want to use a lot of spaghetti because, and actually let me put a little bit more. Because the star of this movie is the salchichon. And actually you are the star of this because you're watching it and you're actually showing interest. You want to learn how to do this. But I'm going to put a little bit more. And now you let it boil, lower to kind of medium high, a couple notches above medium. Then you let it cook. And a good indicator of this being done actually is going to be the potatoes and the spaghetti. See how that nice looking dark color? See, a lot of people, I'm going to say this, a lot of people like to use things that give stuff that yellow color. And I don't know how to say without saying, like sazon. Sazon is not a bad thing, but actually you cannot manage the salt. And if you want to put color, do your own achiote oil and do it naturally, but it's supposed to look dark, man. Come on, it's salchichon. And, and I'm not trying to be critical, I'm just trying to show you how you can enhance the flavor of things in a natural, delicious way. And once again, the amount of liquid is going to be depend on how liquid you want this, taking into consideration that you have pasta. So you have to have enough liquid, okay? I'll be right back. So look at this beauty. Now I know they're not ready because I already pinched one of the potatoes with this. And it needs about another maybe 6-7 minutes. So I have it medium low. Everything else is pretty much ready. And that's what I like to boil the potatoes first for 5 minutes to accelerate the process. I didn't do it today. So I have to wait a little bit longer. But look at how pretty it looks. Oh yeah. I'm going to have this for a couple days. And maybe for tonight too. It's ready to go.